Another day, another riot. I'm back in Seattle. Here we go again on the Hot Zone.
This is the Hot Zone. Engaging with the news in a whole new way, international war correspondent Chuck Holton brings insight into areas of crisis and lets you help those affected.
Hey folks, Chuck Holton here. This is really getting tedious and I have to say pretty lame. I came back to Seattle from Portland, where they've been tearing down the downtown area of that city for legitimately 2 months now. And it's Saturday in Seattle here. And so Saturday afternoon, what do the young people do? They go out to the park, they go for a bike ride, they go to the beach, go swimming, go camping, something like that. No, that's old school. That's not what they do nowadays. Now what they do is they go set the city on fire, break things, destroy other people's property, and they enjoy it. It's a big game to them. That's part of the reason for that, is because they know the police aren't going to do anything about it. They know that they can get away with it. And I guess for them it's fun. I guess when you don't have to pay for anything, when mommy and daddy pay for your bills and support you, pay for your food, and mommy does your laundry when you come home from your black bloc protest, I guess it is fun to just go break things. Why not? And so that's what's happening here. I am staying in my car as long as possible because I don't fit in, if you can imagine that. I don't fit in at all to these protests. I apparently, whoop, I'm getting lost here. Yeah, I don't fit in at all. I get mistaken for a policeman, and that causes me some problems and causes some consternation for the people that I was with there. A couple nights ago in Portland, case in point, I was down there taking video, taking pictures, dressed in civilian clothes, just like everybody else, just like all the other press that were down there.
Film the cops, not the protesters. Film the cops, not the protesters. Film the cops, not the protesters.
And all of a sudden, about 4 guys, little punks from ANTIFA, came and kind of surrounded me and started like trying to step on my toes and stuff. And every time I went to take any video, they would block my camera with their arms. And I'm like, what's up? And they're like, we know you're a cop. What agency are you with? And I'm like, guys, I'm not a cop. I'm a journalist. And they're like, yeah, we don't believe you. And I'm like, dude, I'm an old fat guy. Like, what are you talking about? Do I really look like a cop with this? Does that look like a cop? And they're like, well, you're undercover. We know it, and you need to leave. So, a situation like that, as much as my ego wants to get in the way, because a 120-pound punk is trying to push me around, tell me what to do. It's not almost. It's actually hilarious, because I was there with a good friend of mine that I hadn't seen in a long time, and he came and hung out with me. He was in Delta Force for 9 years, and he's a jiu-jitsu instructor. He's probably killed more guys than all 4 of those guys surrounding us have kissed in their entire lives. And that's probably putting it mildly. If they had any idea the caliber of people that they were dealing with, they probably would have thought twice about it. And it's one of those things that you think, well, I could show them. I could show them what a mistake they're making. But is it really worth that? I mean, what's that going to accomplish? I'm here to do a job, which is to get video footage and report on what's going on. It's It's a big area down there. If they didn't want me filming around where they were, fine, I'll go film somewhere else. So I practiced run fu. Thank you, John Correa, for teaching me how to do that. And I just said, all right, guys, no problem. And I backed off and went somewhere else. So a little bit later, I'm talking about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, the police, well, the federal police finally decided that, okay, it was time for these guys to go to bed. And they, what they had been doing is the Antifa punks would come out and attack the courthouse. They'd try to knock down the fence. They'd, make a big mess. They'd throw fireworks and set things on fire and try to burn down the courthouse. And then when it actually looked like they might be successful at that, the federal agents would come out and would put a stop to it. And they would throw tear gas, flashbangs, and shoot pepper balls to push back the protesters to the point where they could get out there safely and put out the fire. Now, you understand, these protesters, look, the federal agents are using great restraint, obviously using less than lethal munitions, but the protesters are not restrained at all. And they literally, I have no doubt in my mind, they literally would murder these federal agents if they thought they could do it. If they could figure out a way to do it, they would murder them, without a doubt. So it's serious for these federal agents to be out there. It's a big deal. So the agents have got to push them back, or else these guys will use their green lasers and try to blind some more of them. That's already happened to several of these agents. They will employ very large fireworks and try to kill somebody. I mean, somebody's going to get killed with one of those things. I have no doubt that's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. And so once they push back the protesters, they come out, they put out the fires, they turn around and go right back in. They're not staying out there. Well, 3 o'clock in the morning, they decided it was time for the protesters to go to bed, and all of the federal agents came out. There were quite a few more than I thought there were. Probably somewhere, maybe over 100 of them. I mean, a lot. And they pushed those guys several blocks away from the federal courthouse. Once that happened, I had already gone up to my hotel room, but I went back and, just started to film again. As soon as I started filming again, somebody yelled, "He's a cop! He's a cop!" Like, I'm not. I get seriously again. I'm gonna have to put up with this "he's a cop" nonsense.
Who are you even with? Who are you even with?
So for some reason I keep getting mistaken for a cop out here. That's not a good thing. But the real cops have been pushing the protesters out of the area around the courthouse and pushing them up the street. And so there's been quite a bit of conflict on the street here behind me. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning. Of course, all the moms have gone home. There are no more moms left. But the narrative you'll probably hear is that the moms were there and got tear gassed by the cops. That's not true. Hey folks, Chuck Holton. I'm just leaving the protest in downtown Portland for a third night, my third night down here, this 57th night of the protests. And I'm going to make a prediction about what the news will say about the protests in the news in the morning when you wake up. What they're going to say is that the moms and their children came out and linked arms in front of the courthouse, and they they blocked the federal troops from attacking the peaceful protesters with tear gas. And so the narrative will either be that they did that successfully, or it will cut to the few tear gas grenades that were thrown and say that the moms were tear gassed by these federal troops. We have yet to see, but we'll know when we wake up in the morning.
The Hot Zone is produced by Amy Holton and Livefire Media. Copyright 2019.